Have you ever seen these marks on your pot like this? These little chew marks right here? If these marks right here look familiar to you, then you have a problem with squirrels. It's squirrels. It is squirrels. It is squirrels. But I have found some ways to stop the squirrels from chewing on plastic things, because I have pots that get chewed on. This is a storage container getting chewed on, and most people will think that it's rats or mice or something, but it's actually squirrels. So look really closely at these marks, because they look the same pretty much everywhere. The rate that squirrels' teeth grow is so fast that they have to constantly file them down. So they're always looking for things that they can just chew on to help grind their teeth down. And what I have found, if you provide antlers or a bone, like a skull, an animal skull or antlers or horns, they will use that to chew their teeth down. And I have been successful with this in 2 different areas at 2 different times, and for several years in my own yard. And now I've been introducing the idea to clients, and I have several of them who have now adapted that, and it's looking to be successful with them as well. And I actually learned this because I like to have like cow skulls and deer skulls and antlers and stuff in my yard, and they're constantly using them to file their teeth. And I noticed, at first I fought it, but they would spend so much time eating my succulents. This is how I just find my plants sometimes, just all tore up. Oh my gosh. And ripping them out of the pots, and I had this nice beautiful display of succulents on my porch, and squirrels had taken everything out of the pots and the succulents and the dirt. One year I noticed that the pot that had the cowskull in it, that was in a different area, never got taken apart, because they would come and they would just gnaw on this cowskull. Well, then I moved the cowskull to where my succulents were all in pots, and lo and behold, they stopped tearing my pots up. They stopped taking the succulents out. They stopped caring about the succulents at all, which was crazy. So antlers work just as good. The only downfall about using antlers is they can run off with it. So to prevent them from running off with it, you can either tie it up to something or kind of prop it under a rock or a pot, or maybe halfway bury it, just to where it's less likely they can pick it up and run off with it. But at the same time, keep in mind that it does wear down and get smaller. So over the course, depending on how big the antler is, over the course of a couple months, it could be worn down in half to where they're more able to pick it up and run off. I came across this by accident, but it has been actually a pleasure ever since I figured it out, because I actually set up a little camera on my squirrels who chew on my cow skull. At first it made me angry, because I wanted my cow skulls to look nice. I used them for decorative purposes in my pots, and I just liked their aesthetic appeal. However, once I realized they were leaving my succulents alone and no longer destroying other things in my yard when they had this skull to chew on, I was very happy to give it to them. So, if you do have a problem with squirrels, this is a way that you can naturally just kind of guide them to a direction that's healthier for them and better for your things. I'm at a client's house, and they're having a problem with the squirrels have actually eaten through some of the water lines. At first I thought it was mice, but now that I'm seeing these same marks everywhere else, I know that it's squirrels. So this is what we're doing. Got some cow skulls here. We got these off eBay, and I think she paid a little bit more to get the ones in good condition, but if you don't care if it lasts a whole year, then you're fine. You can get the ones that have like this whole middle part missing and they're already like kind of brittle. Those will still work, but they just won't last as long. These, when you get them whole like this, they should last at least a year, if not more. But if you get them and they're brittle, they will start falling apart quick. And then what happens is, when the pieces become something the squirrels can pick up, they're going to pick it up and run off with it. And then it's not going to do its job anymore because it's not there. So as whole as you can get them, or put it closest to wherever you're seeing a problem. I'm gonna try propping this one up right around here to get them started. I'm putting it right between all the other ones that we put it right next to the pot that the squirrels have been chewing on. They've actually chewed on, look at this. Look at all that they've chewed up right here. Anyway, so by putting it somewhere where we know they're already in a habit of chewing on stuff, I think really helped steer them to it. But I can see there's already some good chew marks, and it looks like they just discovered this within the last day or so because it's very little chewing. And the other one we placed over here because they had been chewing on the drip line right here, this black tube. They've been chewing on that. So I started out with it in the tree, and I had it pretty high up, and then when they noticed them using it up there, I moved it to this middle part, and then, you know, I watched for more chewing, and I saw this has all been chewed on. So since I'm seeing recent chew marks, I mean, basically almost on every edge. They definitely found this one first. I'm putting it on the ground just because it looks a little better. But anyway, hopefully this will keep them off of the drip lines. And I mean, you can see there's a lot of squirrel activity here. See all those scratch marks going up and down the tree? That's all from the little squirrels climbing. It's kind of cute, but at the same time, you know, they're just so destructive. This tree gets a lot of activity already, so and it's next to the drip line they've been chewing on, so that's why I placed it over here. It's definitely doing its job, keeping the squirrels off of other stuff, or let's hope anyway. So I hope this helps with your squirrel problems. Please leave your comments. If you've tried this or if you have experience using this, please let me know. I would love to hear about it.